Special welcome to all our listeners. Today, I am excited to have Basso on the podcast. Basso, welcome to the podcast. It's so exciting to have a conversation with you.
Hi, Sarah. We've been waiting to have this moment, and thank you for actually discovering me and finding out about me. You have to really search hard to find me, but I'm glad to actually be able to be part of this conversation.
Beautiful. So, to start our conversation, I would just like you to introduce yourself. Who is Basso? And tell us a little about the journey that you've been on, especially as a tech entrepreneur. Just give us a sense of who you are and the journey that you've walked.
So my name is Mbangi Soma Basso, and Basso comes from my surname. If you put MA, you cut it off, you're left with Basso. So I come all the way from the Free State, which is the center province in South Africa. And yeah, I was raised there and did all my schooling from the Free State. And yeah, it was super huge, big family, not big because like I think it's five of us, and then now we started to have niece and nephews, so it looks like it's a big family. And yeah, I've always been one of those kids who are curious in a way. At an earlier age, I had an opportunity that my dad managed to get us a computer. So the first thing that I did with computer was actually to go to nba.com because I was still active. I was still physically active. So I was playing basketball. So nba.com was the website that I wanted to go to. And that computer didn't last longer because now I realized that it was slow and I wanted to make it fast. And me and my brother, who's just 1 year younger than me, we started to find a way to make this computer faster. And we would break it in, we would do all this, upgrade it, and do all this kind of stuff. And my dad was never happy with that, but I think he knew it because prior us having a computer, we had TV games. So we already broke into TV games, and they bought us a TV for just us to play games. We break that TV in a day. But those were that was all the curious things that one would do because sometimes you just want to improve stuff. But eventually, I started to work with my older brother. So my older brother was the first one to graduate from the family. So he was studying electrical engineering. So every time when he built his projects and everything, I would be there holding the wire for him, and he would build a circuit, and I would just be part of the operation. And I would actually see somebody. Sometimes it's nice when you see somebody that you can relate to, be able to build a product that is technological and be able to build it so that you can use it. So he built some audio amplifier. He built some lights, like when it goes dark, just smart lights. We call it smart lights now, but my brother was building that thing a long time ago. That when it goes dark outside, then the light would go up in the inside. So we would do that. I would be part of the whole production. So it was no brainer for me after I finished my grade 12 that I would study anything else except electrical engineering. So I went and I studied electrical engineering, and yeah, I did really great. Some of the students that attended with me at Central University of Technology, they would attest that I used to sit inside the library. I used to sit at the back of the corner because I'm a super. People don't believe it, but I regard myself as a nerd. But nobody wants to buy the story that I'm a nerd. Not that I failed in school. They think because I'm having an out there personality. Like actually, my personality is difficult because sometimes I'm shy, sometimes I'm not. But because of that, they don't buy the story that I'm a nerd. So we used to, me and my fellow students, start Opera Lab, Sibon Zwaki, these these are the people that we used to go both Tepo Kukuna. Tepo is a PhD student. He's a doctor now. So all those guys, we used to sit at the back of the library, and everybody would come around the space. I would sit at the corner, and we would do maths, we would do engineering, we would do that throughout the semester. I mean, throughout the semester that you spend at school, I'm usually been busy working and achieving, getting good grades, helping out with other guys, building projects. But that time I was not good with building projects, to be honest. I don't know how I passed those projects because most of the time my projects never worked, but but eventually I'm here out of the entire group. I'm the only one who's now commercializing this project. It's so funny how the world works. So that's eventually that's my secondary or my tertiary life. Then I got trained to become a broadcast engineer, and then I worked at MultiChoice for a year. MultiChoice, the group company for DSTV, and then I then realized like this thing, it's not for me. So in my life, I only worked for 1 year. Actually, I was doing graduate programs, so I don't know if you consider that as a work experience or not, but I've only done a corporate work for a year. Then after then, I started to work on my own stuff. Next year, I would be celebrating 10 years trying to build a good company ever since I made a decision because I left when I was 22. Next time, I'm turning 32. So that decision was taken by the 22-year me to say, hey, Chief, this is a path that we
Yeah.
want for you. So I don't know what the 22 was smoking that time that led me to this journey.
He was a courageous 22-year-old. They love him. He was so
Hey,
courageous and
hey,
sensible as well.
hey, that 22. Hey, that
Yeah.
22 put me in trouble. I don't know how many times I've been broke because of that 22. Yo, now when I'm looking at it at my 31 year, I am like, you know what? I could have stayed. I could have stayed in corporate. I could have stayed for longer so that maybe I got more enough cash probably to run my business and also learn how the organization, how do you build how organizations run because of my lack of experience of how organization run. So I have to learn on the fly how to build a team, how to build a company culture, how to raise money, how to speak to client, how to price products. It's all the stuff that you have to now learn because you never actually had experience of getting them from the corporate. If I resigned, if I was a senior manager somewhere, I could have been better off if I still had a passion to do stuff that I did. So it's a bit of both. I could have, yeah. So we don't know
Yeah.
what the 22-year-old thought. Probably when we got to 32, 42, when we got to the Forbes front cover at 42, then the 22-year-old will be able to speak. That's what we thought about you.
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yes,
Very interesting journey that you've walked. Hey. Um, so where do you then see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself as Basso? Where do you see Sisanda in the next 5 years?
it's usually tricky because what's the vision? Where do I want to see myself? And to be honest, I usually say that I lose an excitement if I actually give you the specific of where I want to be in 5 years. But usually in my general specific things, I just want to see myself, personally myself, as Paso, being one of the creative technologists that ever came out of the mother continent, and being able to build products that can contribute to or make a change to many people's life. Like it was quite a self-reflection today when I went to the school to find out what we are developing. It's actually affecting thousands of learners. Like the school has 2,000, one school that we went to, it has 2,000 learners, and we already have at least 5 schools that we are working with, and with an average of 1,500 learners. If we have to put it this it's like my work as a creative technologist, it's now affecting this amount of numbers. Can we take it to more numbers? So that's when in the next 5 years we need to be talking about 1 million learners that have been influenced by the work that we do in education. But more people need to be influenced by just the creative ideas that are coming out of me and the people that I collaborate with. So 5 years for me is that, and for Sisanda, I think the vision of Sisanda is quite clear. We want to build the greatest immersive experience that we could ever do. So it has to. It doesn't like now we solely our main core product. It's an educational product, but we want to make it so great that if you touch any other augmented reality focusing on education, you're like these guys. Their experience is so great, and teachers love it, and it's so beautiful, well designed. Because I'm also quite my team. They know that I'll fight about small design things like this button looks too small, doesn't look nice. So design it's one of the aspects that we really want to make it great. But we are contributing a lot in a lot of aspects. We are making research and development on the metaverse. So we have built the first Chisanyama in the metaverse. And we are making this kind of crazy experiences where we are now trying to teach avatars how to dance like South Africans. I mean, South Africans, they have a way to express themselves beautifully with their bodies. And we want to put this thing into avatars that when people are partying in the metaverse, they can just press a button, dance like South Africans. So we are making all this crazy research development that we want to take it out there. So for us, it's more us impacting the world through design, through creativity, through learning, and like everything has to be congested. We need to be able to also tell African stories in the most authentic way. Our education platform through the aesthetic, you could tell like this was built in Africa, and this is telling it's able to communicate in the language of Africans. It doesn't have to. We don't have to translate from English to Swahili or what, but the aesthetic way of us presenting our content really have to stick to the eye of our users. Yes,
Beautiful.
but by 40, by 42, at least I must be on first company magazine, fast company magazine or Forbes cover. They must think for me. So I
Nice.
missed under 30. I didn't get anything 30 under 30, but I'm working towards that goal there. By 40, at least I must be on the cover there with my influence in terms of building great technology products out of Africa. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it. I love those aspirations, and they will certainly come true. Love it. So let's talk about your experience with Shmulo Hong. So I first learned about you through one of the managers there. When I visited the place, he just said, wow, you're in education, in the education tech space, you gotta meet this guy because this guy is building, amazing education augmented solutions
Yeah.
that use virtual reality as well. So just tell me about how did you get into the Shimlohong program, and tell us what Shimlohong is all about as well.
Um, because it's always a difficult one to try to define our relationship with Simulhome, because we actually never been part of any program that Simulhome provided. But how we got into Simulhome, we got into Simulhome two ways. So Simulhome before, I mean, there were two parts of Simulhome. There's the part that you now found at Simulhome where we met, and there is another previous part. It used to be called DIZ. I think it was Digital Innovation Zone that was run by the Joburg Chamber of Software and what under Professor Berry. Professor Berry is the founder of Timulhong. So when I got into Timulhong, I got in through Innovation Hub. So Innovation Hub had a program called Maxam Digital. So it was hosted at the IZ. So now, in me being there, coming all the way from Free State, taking risk as always, coming here, you don't know where you're gonna sleep, but you just come into Joburg. So I found myself as part of Maxam Digital. So I got full the ecosystem of Timlochom full Maxam Digital. But then the relationship started to expand in a way that one of the founding members of the makerspace, um, the colleagues, Nelson's colleagues, Alex, and Alex wanted something to be done for augmented reality. So he asked me to come through to Timurho Makerspace. Then that's when I started to work with Timurho Makerspace. So relationship that I have that is more say that this was really a tense relationship. It was with Timothy Makerspace, and with that, because Timothy Makerspace is part of the big Timothy Precinct, then that's how I was within the part of the part of the ecosystem, you know. So, but most programs that I did it through Innovation Hub. They had enterprise development, not enterprise development, I mean business development for us, where they are giving us access to powerful computers because they understood the vision that if we say we are building a Maxam digital, we need to build digital entrepreneurs. We need to be able to provide them with the resources, enough computer machines that they can be able to build their solutions on top of this, you know. So Maxam Digital was the one that was supporting me there, and me working with Team Home Makerspace. It was not like the way it was situated. So Nelson, Mia, and Alex, they provided us this community where us, the lunatics, the guys who like stupid stuff, we can meet and start working through this community and start developing the stuff. And sometimes they would get workshops that we can teach other people, impart our skills on how to build all this stuff. So that's how we have gone through the ecosystem. And while we're still on that, because that's what I'm saying, the relationship, how I became the part of the ecosystem is still confusing because now Red Bull, two programs of Red Bull were hosted there at Simulo Home, and they were also paying for me to be part of the ecosystem. So, I mean, they were also paying the rent for me to become part of the ecosystem, but they were coming with their own programs as part of the entire ecosystem. Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Let's now dive into your business. Let's talk about the solutions that you bring to the market. What does Sanda do? What kind of solutions are you bringing to the market?
I mean, our core product that started the company back in 2017. It's a virtual science laboratory that we are
Virtual.
focusing virtual science. Yeah,
Yeah.
virtual.
Okay.
Hey, the accent it's out here.
No, it's fine. Yes.
So it's a virtual science laboratory that we are building with my team together. We've been working ever since 2017 up until now, but only in 2020, 2022 now that we starting to roll it out in most schools. Like we have at least 5 schools that we'll now be working with through this pilot. So that's big compared to what we've been doing when we are testing the app. So, but just to give you a context of why we developed the digital laboratory, why are we bringing science into an app? So I said I come from a public school, and you as a learner coming from public school, when you are learning science, you can only rely so much that the teacher is good to draw the artworks of whatever that you're gonna learn. Because in public school, majority 80% of public school in South Africa, they don't have a science facility. So whatever that you're taught, you have to do it theoretically. It has to be something that you have to use your own imagination. If you're talking about how to how to test if a certain thing has a starch or what. You just see the experiment The teacher would give you the experiment and give you the answers. You copy it and fill in your practical worksheet. That's how most of my generation we have learned science. And my nephews who are going to public school, they're still doing the same thing. I thought to myself that there has to be a personal problem that I want to solve. And Sisana App Universe, which is our visual science lab, was born out of that. That at least I want to create a solution that my nephew and my niece, because they are the younger nephew and the niece, they are on the same age group. They're both in grade 4. So I need to build a solution that when they are doing their grade 12, they're doing that, they're able to use this platform where it becomes easy for them to actually learn science, to engage with science, to explore their curiosity without them being constricted to theoretical thing, because science is more of a practical subject. So that's why Sisanda App Universe was born, to close that gap. And ever since we were born, the product was developed. We won MTN Business Awards in 2019 to become the most innovative solution. And ever since then, we've been part of a couple of programs where we were assisted by different bodies, like we are assisted by National Youth Development Agency and NYDA to actually buy us our first computer. That we still have that computer, still working, still building more projects. So yet they bought us a computer that allowed us to continue to do development, and we assisted further by Red Bull Amapico, Red Bull Basement. Red Bull Amapico is now called Further Impact. We are assisted by that organization to bring our solution here. Innovation Hub was involved to actually bring our solution here. But the biggest company that has been working with us consistently, so even at this day, is Technology Innovation Agency. It's them that have been helping us to get more resources so that we can develop our company further. Because now we're a company of 6, all young people. I think I'm the oldest. I hate it that I'm the oldest there in the company. But all dynamic, young people, diverse, we are able to bring all our ideas to actually develop this thing. So we got Sisanda App Universe that we are already rolling out to more schools that we are working to develop. It's a great product. So we are getting into more schools. We are deploying to another school next week. And we were really working overtime around that to make sure that we do that. And then we got Sisanda Services, aka we call it Made in Sisanda. But this is our service where we're saying that as much as we are developing the app, we still have to keep the lights on. So now we are helping other companies that they may want to implement their augmented reality or virtual reality strategies, but they don't have the skills in the company. Then they can call us and say, hey, Sisanda, this is what we want to do. We got this budget. Can you guys work within this budget? We are like, yes, then we can develop solutions for them. So that's usually not limited. We develop every solution except solutions that are related to stuff that are not part of our values, but we work with different industries. I can mention key project that we did. We did a project for UNICEF and Saibono. It was UNICEF, UNDP, and Saibono to raise awareness about climate change. So we developed a forest. We developed a forest environment for virtual reality where people can go into this beautiful forest and they can learn all aspects about climate change. And we also did some couple of projects like now that speaking about, we developed a photo, an AR augmented reality photo booth. I think it's one of the first in South Africa or in Africa after all to have AR photo booth. So we developed that for one of our clients. And yeah, that's the work that we do for Sisanda Services. So, but apart from that, we were a very experimental young company. We're already running our own research on the metaverse. So we have what we call Sisanda Experiential. This is us running researches on the metaverse to learn about the metaverse, to understand how Africans can use the metaverse, and to understand what kind of media is this one. So we have developed a couple of virtual worlds. There are some we sold them as non-fungible tokens or NFTs. We have sold them as NFTs, and some we have developed a sponsored project like we did another sustainable fashion project that was sponsored by Electric South, British Council, Tweak, and cross overlaps to actually tell sustainable story in the metaverse. So, sustainable fashion stories in the metaverse. So we developed that project with a fashion designer by the name of Kumo. We partnered with him. We developed a world for him, and then he brought his sustainable fashion inside that world to actually tell more stories. So it's more experiential, it's more fun stuff that we are doing. We're building Chesanyama in the metaverse. We are taking the quantum, we make it a flying quantums. So it's more experiential just to make research and development to understand what will the metaverse mean for Africans and how can Africans tell their stories through the metaverse. But the most core product is under App Universe because that one is closer to my heart because it's trying to solve the problem of not having a science facility in your school when you're trying to learn science. And Sisanda Services is just to support the company, to keep the lights on into the company. And Sisanda Experiential, it's more of our research and development. So that's why we need more money because we are also running research and development.
Beautiful, beautiful. You're doing such exciting stuff. So then let's dive into this whole concept of the metaverse. What is the metaverse and how can businesses use it as a competitive advantage or to gain business advantage for themselves as an organization?
I mean, think of the metaverse as the internet as we know it, and nobody actually owns the internet. Nobody has the rights to the internet. Internet is for everyone. It's democratized. You understand? And different companies are building on top of the internet to make the services on top of the internet so that other people could have access to them. You understand? And the metaverse now becomes the 3D version of the internet. What does it mean? It means that we are now going to be entering the new wave, the next computing wave where people will now interact with the internet in the 3D way, in the 3D models, in the 3D dimension. This call that we are having, we could be having physically. I can see your digital representation of yourself. You could see my digital representation of myself, and whoever, I mean, all our audience could be part of that conversation in this virtual world where we can be communicating. So I like the explanation that says the metaverse is basically the internet that is developed by the game developers instead of the web developers, because web developers would do stuff that are flat 2D based, but the game developers would come with their own 3D stuff and build the game mechanics. So it looks like a game. It's so fun like a game and all those kind of stuff, you know. So it's a connected world of virtual worlds. I mean, it's a connected, how do I say, it's metaverse connects the virtual worlds together. You understand? So now you have a place where you could, as I say, we have a Chisanyama in the metaverse. You could go to our Chisanyama, or you could choose and go to a Nike have developed in Roblox. They've built their own world in Roblox where you can visit their world, either wearing virtual reality headset. Other people are pushing it through augmented reality, and other people are using just a normal display. But the environment are rich in media. The environments are in 3D. So that's what the metaverse is, you know. And for corporates, I mean, there are a lot of opportunities in the metaverse that the corporates would start thinking about, especially corporates that are focusing on consumer products, you know. We can see like what LVMH I think I always get it wrong when I say Louis 13. People they say I'm pronouncing it wrong. That's why I always say LVMH. So LVMH, they've when I went to Vivatech in France, they had the entire proof being filled by the metaverse products that they are already shipping to the metaverse. You know, they are taking the try on of their garments, you know, that have been produced under LVH. You can use them using try on as augmented reality, and they're building their own luxury virtual worlds where people could just visit and engage with the experiential digital clothes that you can buy for your own avatar. If you like it, you can probably turn it into a physical garment. You know, they start to experiment different. There was one experience that they had that probably they will probably when the technology gets there, they will connect it to the metaverse. There is this one experience that they had with the Hennessy, where you can mix your Hennessy digitally, produce your own Hennessy from scratch, and then smell the actual smell of your own connect. How does your connect actually smell? So all these ideas, like for LVMH, they're starting to experiment this thing, how they can connect it back to the metaverse because people are already buying their digital. I think Gucci, they sold one of their bags. It was more expensive than the actual physical bag. They sold a virtual bag that was more expensive than the physical bag, and they sold it in Roblox. You understand? So for the consumer product, it's like just clear for them that they can be running experimental on terms of the product that they want to sell. But other corporates, they could actually look on their own strategy to say, what is it that we are providing? And in these virtual worlds, how we can add value into these virtual worlds. If I'm a company that manufactures cars, maybe what we could be building, we could be building cool cars that these people can travel with on the virtual world. You know, you don't have to put your branding all over, but you are just making these futuristic cars and let people to engage with within the world. You know, other other if you use immersive technology such as virtual reality, you could be running your own training instead of trying to take people somewhere where they can learn about how to operate your machine. They can be doing it in a virtual reality and learn and understand the skills in much safer environment and much affordable environment. So those are a couple of stuff that there are a lot of applications, but really I think at this point in time the corporates they really have to start going to understand the language on the ground. The conversation of the metaverse, it's mostly done in Discord. So they have to go to the Discord, join different Discords, learn why Nike, no, why Nike bought a company called Clone. It's called Artifacts. It's called, but the way it's written RTFKT. It's called Artifacts. So this company makes digital clothes. It makes digital fashion, and Nike bought that as part of their small companies that are technology that they're gonna take into the metaverse. And so it's something that the corporates out suggest that before they invest on this is to be around Discord and learn what's happening in the metaverse. They can come. We got regular meetups on Faith Days with the creators, the creative technology, the developers. They can come and join such meetups so that they can learn the culture of what the metaverse is at this point in time. Start having ideas. Because it would be a very mistake that corporate and all other companies are just building solution for the metaverse, but they never had a time to go and play it with the people who are spending their time there. As I'm saying tonight, there's a big party. It's happening in Joburg, coming all the way to Venus. And in Venus, those people are going to be engaging with the party, not on YouTube, not anywhere, but in virtual reality. So for corporate that are into the entertainment, that are doing films, that are doing what, it really starts to show like okay, this is where we need to be going.
Absolutely, absolutely inspiring and exciting. Hey, uh, let's look at augmented reality and virtual reality. Those are terms that you've brought up, and they are terms that are used. Many people actually use them interchangeably. Can you just explain what the difference is between the two of them? And how I know you've touched on how virtual reality is being used in corporate, but I would love you to just go into more detail how organizations can use uh, VR and AR, okay, virtual reality and augmented reality for their businesses. Let's look at use cases, for example, of virtual reality and augmented reality. But let's first start by defining what they are, what the differences are, and then we look at the use cases.
Okay. I'm actually trying to press the PC because I want to take a huge risk here of trying to make a live demo. So I'm basically going to try to switch off my computer to an augmented reality computer. I mean, my camera to an augmented reality. So let's see if it works. I'm just taking a gamble if this would work right away into the presentation. If it works, then I would be happy. Yes, I'm back. So with augmented reality, so basically augmented reality, it's the ability to enhance what you are having. Let's see, because I want to throw something on my face. I hope you can. You see, so with augmented reality, what you are having its ability to enhance the space around you. So the
Okay, I
camera
can
in
see the
front of
glasses.
you.
I can see the virtual glasses on you.
Yes, the
Yes.
visual classes in front of me. It's part of augmented reality. So what
Uh-huh.
augmented reality does, it finds the real environment, it finds the real things, and it adds a digital content in terms of those real things. We can enhance. For companies, they can do digital twins. That's one thing that I forgot. They can do a digital twins whereby through that they can be able to project their workshop in front of, I mean, their factories or I want the proper ways to actually, I mean, factories or the manufacturing lines, then they can bring them into one room where people could see within the environment that they are already in through their devices or through the camera, like I'm doing right now. You understand? So augmented reality is all about bringing digital content into the room that you are already in to enhance it, right? But with virtual reality, maybe I can switch it to my favorite one. Let me leave this one and switch it to my favorite one so that we can continue the conversation. Uh, okay, this is my favorite one. It's gonna load now. So with virtual reality, so virtual reality would mean that we basically taking people into a computer generated world. So everything that you see in that world, it's everything that you see in that world. It's more okay. Let's see. Everything that you, oh, this is my favorite. This is my go-to.
Ah.
This is my go-to augmented reality experience that I usually use. But for virtual reality, the whole environment is created by computer, and we are in that environment. And both me and you, we are presented by our digital self. So the digital twins,
So
yeah,
are
the
you a
digital
digital
twin
self?
can still be your.
Is that your digital twin now
No,
on
no,
your face?
no, no, no. This is still me, but I just augmented the
Yes.
face. I just
Okay.
imagine this is augmented reality. I just augmented
Okay.
myself. Maybe when we are having a part two of our conversation, of our podcast,
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to, maybe we should organize a part two so that I can try to get us into virtual reality and we have a conversation on virtual reality. That would be great, by the
I
way.
love
Maybe we
that.
can organize part two. Yes. So
Okay.
for
Cool
virtual
deal.
reality, yes, we will definitely have to do that. So for virtual reality, we'll find ourselves into this designed studio, and when I look at you as an avatar. I see your digital
Mm,
representation, a cartoon avatar, and you're looking at me as the digital version. So depending on how you want to represent yourself, formal or more playful, you could always choose
mm-hmm.
to be that. But companies with virtual reality, they can run training or they can do
Mm-hmm.
digital twins. By digital twins,
Mm,
I mean, I think digital twins are important for corporates that are running factories, that are running operations, serious operation, that they have the entire factory, but in a digital
mm-hmm.
form, so that when there is a problem in the factory,
Mm-hmm.
technician, they can be able to start running or looking, visualizing the program. Where is the problem? Because you can now connect it with sensors and send this thing into the digital world, and you can be able to
Mm-hmm.
work around your factory and see where exactly the problem is, and then you can deploy your engineer on the side. So
Mm,
that's virtual reality. So virtual reality, you can teleport into other worlds, you can teleport into a virtual space, but your body is there. Oh, I forgot. So you're gonna need one of this. You wear it, you put it on your face,
mm-hmm.
and you just now transmit it into another world. So that's how you access
Mm,
virtual reality. Through these headsets, you can be able to access
mm-hmm.
virtual reality. But the beauty with augmented reality that what you can do with virtual reality is you can access through these smartphone devices or a camera. That's the difference between the two. So, as
Mm,
I'm saying, augmented reality for corporates that are focusing, that are releasing consumer products, that are selling like your tech brands.
mm-hmm.
The agencies may wanna maybe make a certain promotion of their products. Then they can place on their packaging. When I scan the packaging can
Mm-hmm.
come to life. Like for instance, Kellogg's,
Ah,
one
yeah.
of the companies. Maybe we hope somebody from Kellogg's could listen to this. Kellogg's is one of
Mm-hmm.
the companies that I would definitely love to partner with because with that box of Kellogg's, we can
Mm-hmm.
transform that box into a learning lab. We can transform
Mm,
it. I mean, I just given out an idea to somebody who can actually use. But I mean, when you scan the Kellogg's box, it could come to
mm-hmm.
life. You could have a lot
Mm-hmm.
of stuff that are interesting to their market, which is usually
Mm,
kids. So
mm,
stuff like that you can do with augmented reality. But when people start to have more headsets, then Kellogg's will
mm-hmm.
think to say, why are we not building a theme park of Kellogg's
Mm-hmm.
that we can
Mm-hmm.
take these kids from here and transfer them
Mm-hmm.
into that theme park? So that's how corporate
Mm,
needs to be looking, especially consumer product related, consumer based companies. They could have to start to think, how else can we engage our users?
mm,
You understand?
mm,
And for
mm,
B2B businesses, it's all about digital twins. If I'm
mm,
going to talk about my factory, if I'm going to tell you about my mining, let me actually
mm,
invite you into my mine. You see the digital representation of it.
mm. Fantastic.
Yes.
Please now remove your virtual face so I can see your proper face.
Yes, yes. Let me
Yeah.
remove my digital self now. Oh, now
Yes.
they are
Oh
playing
my
with me.
word.
Hey,
You've got different
ah,
digital faces coming
ah,
on you there.
now they are playing with me. Now let me just
Sure.
switch back to the normal camera. Oh yeah, I'm back.
Yeah. Oh, this is so interesting, hey? It is
Yes,
absolutely interesting. Oh my word. It's exciting, I must say. And
yes,
not a lot of companies have actually tapped into this virtual reality and augmented reality. it can actually enhance customer experience
True.
in a very, very amazing way, I think.
Definitely, definitely. Customer experience, that I keep saying, consumer based products, it makes sense. Augmented reality, it makes sense. Like if you are Kentucky Fried Chicken, it makes sense. Like, how do you make your box to not just be a box? How do you make it an experience? How do you
Mm,
make it cool? If you are those, it really makes sense. If you are on B2B and you're going to sell this big lorry that you are going to sell to your client, but it's too expensive to take it there. Why not just take
mm,
the headsets to the client?
mm,
If a cruise ship, MSC cruise, many people have never been on the cruise. Take the
mm,
headset to them and they see.
mm.
So the marketing becomes different. I think maybe the marketers are going to coin a new term, call it, they must credit me if they coin it
Yes,
that way. They must credit me. Yeah, they might
yes,
be call it telepathy marketing,
yes.
because now people are going to be able to move from the environment that they have to actually
Into a
see.
different environment and
Yeah,
experience.
yeah.
Wow.
You're doing tourism, all companies that are
Mm,
doing tourism. How are you
mm,
selling Drakensberg? How are you selling
mm,
Kilimanjaro? How are you selling Victoria
mm,
Falls? Get people inside
mm,
Victoria Falls, so it becomes easy for people to have to say, hey, I actually want to feel this thing live. I actually want to be part
mm,
of this experience. So I think for customer experience, I mean, banks, customer experience wise, we are talking about the slow launch yesterday. It's like
yes,
if
yes.
my bank that I'm using now really want to send me on the private wealth, and I've not been in the slow lounge because I'm still using the gold card. They want to get me into the black one. They can just say, look what's happening in the slow lounge. You're missing out. You're gonna pay
Mm.
more for you using this, but you see what's happening there. So so
So the
telepathy
insurance
marketing. I don't know if it's the way.
companies, yeah, the
Mm, mm,
insurance companies can actually benefit from this. They can
yeah.
enhance the experience even before people sign up, because then people can always feel for the solution that they're going to sign up for.
Yes, I mean, training and education for them would be much easier on both. Usually, you'd see, I don't know if it's allowed to speak about the brands. I'm only asking after I name drop a lot of brands. I don't know if I should
Well, we're not
continue and
aligned
name
to
drop
any
them.
brand, so yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, like, if you check assurance and all this, what do they do when they are trying to bring people into the services? They give out pamphlets. But what does the pamphlets
Mm,
do? Pamphlet, I don't think it's good enough because to convert your clients. But if it was a pamphlet that is augmented immediately, when you're scanning it and re and go from discovery could come out and start to have a talk with the client who's looking at why should he actually work with discovery or one of the banks. It could literally help in terms of the display. Like one thing that we recently thought about was the display for these new cars that are coming. They're coming with a head uh, what's that, they call it HUD head. I'll have to research this quickly. This is me. This is me being a nerd because
mm.
it's HUD. It's yeah, head up display. That's what I wanted. But I think it's okay people to learn that. If you don't know it, just quickly Google it. So these new
That's what
cars,
I
they
love
have
about you, the creatives, right? You make life easy for yourselves.
it's head-up display that they have it that you can see your speed. I think maybe I think Discovery is doing something where it can give you the points based on how you drive. Maybe they should have to start thinking that how do you gamify that, already gamify it, but how do you use that AR display on those cars to for people to actually start looking at the scores of how their driving is based on what they did, you know? So I mean, it's all about enhancement of the real environment. The reality as we know it, the corporate needs to ask themselves, how do we enhance the reality as we know it? Yeah, yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, what an informative conversation this has been. But I would love us, as we start wrapping up the conversation, I would love us to speak about blockchain, cryptocurrency. Those are things that are big on the market now. The NFTs, what are those? And where do you see these moving, especially within the African context?
Oh, so with the blockchain, usually people would refer the blockchain as the public ledger, with the aim of decentralized way of moving information from one point to another point. So on top of the blockchain, the most important application, or if you read the white papers, the manifestos of the earliest project on the blockchain, their focus was more on disrupting the financial system as we know it. So the idea was like the ability of us sending new money without involving the bank. You understand? So that's where cryptocurrencies, they become an application on top of the blockchain to say we are the finance instruments that will allow money to be sent from one person to the other without involving the bank within this transaction. And we aim to make it faster. We aim to make it more cheaper to make this transaction. So Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency that ever worked. Was the application of the blockchain. So it grew up to, because of it becoming the first, so it grew up to become the digital coin because it started to face a couple of challenges with its own infrastructure um, that it cannot be faster and becoming more expensive, and it can only do one thing, which is transaction of money. Then Ethereum, which is the second cryptocurrency, then it came with a solution. So what I like about the blockchain ecosystem, that I'm not yet full part of it, but I can always connect you with one of the young leaders within the space. We can actually explain it much better than I do. But what I like about all these projects is projects of people who are committed to say, we can improve the last paper. Let's improve this solution to this solution. So blockchain was like, we can do, I mean, Ethereum was like, we can do more transactions than the blockchain. And at the same part, we can also provide a platform where other people can build on top of us. So what does it mean? It means now we can also provide what you call smart contracts, where people can start to sign contract to say, I'm giving you this much and you need to be giving this much. And this, it's not controlled by the lawyer, but it's controlled by the code, by the instruction that we put on the computer. You understand? So from small contracts, then decentralized finance was born, and non-fungible tokens were born. Because non-fungible tokens, it basically means the ownership of a digital asset. Was a digital asset. We sell virtual wealth. As we do the metaverse world, we sell virtual wealth. We take this wealth and then we sell it to you. When you buy it, your ownership will be there on the blockchain that this wealth belongs to you. So that's how the non-fungible token were actually born. But on this case, I'll definitely recommend you to speak to one of the leaders within. It's a young leader. His name is actually he sells virtual reality hardware. Ian is, I think, is one of the few who does it in Africa, where he sells the hardware. this hardware that I have, I bought it from him. But at the same
Okay.
time, he's also prominent in terms of non NFTs and the blockchain. So that's not my frontier. I'm just doing I'm not an expert on that one. I'm just using it within my resources. But I think if you want to have a full on blockchain conversation, I need to introduce you to Daliso so that he can come to your platform and you guys can have conversation about blockchain.
I'll love that. I'll love that.
Yes.
So, the tech industry, what are your views? Do you think the tech industry is diverse enough? And if you think not, what do you think we need to do to make it more diverse?
Yes. Yeah, it's probably going to get political, but that question is political on its own. There's no way not to make it less political. To diversification, it's a political topic. But in terms of the tech is still predominantly white, and it may take time for it to come to the point that maybe there is evenly distributed number of people from different race in terms of black. But if you check the trend in Silicon Valley, you already start to see that all the big tech companies are run by Indians because in India, they've made a great investment. I think I keep forgetting that name of engineering school that the Indian government laterally invested on that school to make sure that it produced a lot of and I had the name yesterday, but I forgot it now. It produced a lot of engineers, and most of the guys who are running the big tech companies now, they are coming they're Indian and they're coming from that school. So it's the same thing that you see with Asia, with China, investing a lot in terms of education and the development of their people to be in tech. You understand? So, and then we still have a low number of black people, but we are making strides because black people, we we there's nothing that never ever disturbed us. Like every odds that we get, Africans will find a way to to maneuver the odds to actually be able to get us there. It's tough, firstly, because we still have to improve the educational system, and it's also tough, especially in terms of more startups coming in. Like I was telling one of my friend that to say we are all building tech companies. I'm saying for us to say we are building these tech companies, first we thought no rich uncles or rich families. We are just taking chance. All what we're doing, it's us taking chances because it requires a lot of money to actually be successful into tech businesses. If you check a history of all those billionaires in Silicon Valley, you check their family history and you check my family history, you see that we're really taking chances, but because we always against the odds, we're trying to push against the odds. So tech, it's not yet evenly distributed, and it's gonna be hard. I don't know. Usual people talk about the matter of police. Not police isn't police people, but
Policy.
policy to be changed and that needs to be improved. But also it has to from interest of majority of us moving in as black people to build tech. It's gonna be tough to give up because we keep seeing some of our friends giving up along the way because it's really expensive to build technology company. You need machines. It's very competitive. If you don't have enough machines, you don't have enough money. It really gets difficult. So people should not really give up. We should make sure that the money is available for startups. The money government issues should not take 6 months because we only rely on them, especially for us as black people, because there is no how venture capital actually invests. It invests based on the trial and tested formula. Two white people or two people, one white, one black. You understand? It has to be
Mm.
white. It's all black. We don't know the success stories. Point me one company that is super black, that is tech, that was ever been written about in a magazine. There is not. I mean, Flutter Wave, I
Mm.
think it's Flutter something from Nigeria. We're celebrating it, that fintech, but now they've been attacked because there's been fraud that is been happening. That's what happens. Like when we talk about um, super black, there might be cases of fraud that might be attacked. We don't know how true is the story and how dead, but you don't get a formula where the VCs, you don't get a formula of a truly tested, pure black company or pure African company. You either have to have a co-founder that is white. That's what you see in Cape Town. When you go to the Cape Town ecosystem, the co-founder is white, and the other co-founder is black. Usually, if even you study the history of those tech startups in Cape Town, you'll find that most of the black founders there, all they come from the families that are in politics. You understand? You
Mm.
really don't find. We still have to. It's like, and I'm not using it as a sympathy for somebody to feel me bad, but it's just that I'm just challenging the thoughts of those who are investing. They should change their formulas, and I know they want their money back now. That's why all the
Mm.
VCs they choose to go to fintech, because everybody in Africa is investing in fintech. Nobody else is doing other startups because there's a formula. So how the VCs they
Mm.
invest based on what they see, it's already working. They don't invest
Mm.
on that this thing is gonna work. So that also needs to
Mm.
change to have more tech startups. The formula of duly tested and tried medicine needs to change. But we're still far from us getting diversity. I mean, I can talk about women in tech. It's also still
Mm.
far. I mean, there's still, I mean, more women still have to be interested in tech, and they still have to, we
Mm.
also have to replace the word women in tech, because that of on its own, it's a segregation. Black in tech, using the word black, that it's also separating us to come to a point that we are diversified. We must be called black, not black technologists. We must be called technologies, not women in technology.
Mm.
Those kind of annotation diversification to be difficult because we keep grouping ourselves African in tech, women in tech. But you don't find when you search, when you say um, game developers, it will show white people, but for you to get black people, you must say black developers. So we still have to deal with such stuff that you still have to be fixed along the
Mm.
way. And probably it's something to be done with policy. Probably the venture capital, they may try us, those ones of us who don't
Mm.
have background of knowing how to build tech, or nobody else who have ever built business in our life, but we still building business. It's not a problem that our parents have to focus on survival of us first before they can try businesses. So they still have to
Mm.
try us, those ones. And they have to change strategies. Don't invest. I know you want your money back, but try other untried people, because we got passion. We've been in this field. I've
Mm.
done this thing for 9 years, and I'm still here, and I'm still supporting my family with the bit that I can do now. But we got a vision.
Mm.
We know we want to build cool stuff as well, and that's how all the
Mm.
guys who are coming from mentorship, like me, can be able to play in the sport if we're all being able to treat it the same way. But that's not how money
Mm.
works, to be honest. Money works on how what you're gonna benefit in a short time.
Mm.
But in a utopia world, we just wish the formula could be like that. We can only be diverse if the rules and all other stuff allow people to actually participate. But in my company, we are not everybody works. We're trying to, because we understand like people from different experiences don't bring a different
mm,
good output. If it's only us black people with races and attack, we may not have experience of white people, we may not have experience of Indian or coloreds, So we need all these parties to come to share their experience with us so that we can build good products. You check what happened with artificial intelligence. It's tough to get a good artificial intelligence that works with Africans. Because who develops this? It's white people. That's why the stereotypes in those artificial intelligence models. You understand? You can ask where are the black people? Black people are still fighting a lot of stuff. We're still fighting survival first. It's a difficult time to actually find a clear way for us to be diverse. It's really tough. So that's why I said it becomes political, this issue. But we will get there. And I'm calling for more technologists. Um, I don't want to say black because I just said I don't want to say black technologists, but I'm calling for more technologists. If you got passion to build cool products, come through, and I'm calling for more corporates that have more money to be invested. Invest on the passion, invest on the people who can get the job done, regardless of their background, regardless of the formula that will give you return on the investment. But invest on us, allow us to make mistakes. We'll learn through your money, but we'll definitely get it.
Very interesting conversation, hey? Very, very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bring out quite interesting points there. Yeah, it's been just a wonderful and amazing conversation. A lot of learning for me as well, even though I'm in tech, virtual reality, augmented reality is not the space that we play in. So even metaverse is a very new concept for me. So I have learned a lot from you. And just well done for sticking it out and for still being here. It's a tough industry, like you've said, but we celebrate those who stick it out and believe in themselves and they keep pushing themselves to make the impact. So to finish off our conversation, what are the parting shots? Any concluding words, parting words that you have for our audience?
I think it's quite important to realize that human collaboration it's key. If we collaborate as human beings from all different kind of race, we are able to make cool stuff. So we should always practice human collaboration and move away from our stereotypes, move away from our small niche community that we want to create. For young Africans at my age, so we as young Africans, we need to choose how we need to be activists, and we cannot all be politicians, guys. Leave the young Africans who are going to politics, but the rest of us who are still available, let's come together and build great products that we can multiply, because that on its own, it's also still activism if we are able to build products that we can be inspired about. Those who are in software, guys, let's stop running to India, to China to get the coders to develop stuff for us. It's time that we develop. Software is cheap. Software is cheap to manufacture. So there's no reason to hire a coder in India. Let's build it here in South Africa. So, I mean, in Africa, so that we become strong in terms of software. Hopefully, for those who are doing hardware, eventually the government police and the collaboration with big corporates will bring the manufacturing back into the continent, then we can be able to do all this stuff. But for us to have respect or to be respected everywhere we go, it's always gonna start with the ability to put bread on our table, the ability to build solution for ourselves. If we are still looking for another person out there to build solution for ourselves, we always gonna be looked a little bit less, like how we are now regarded as the lesser people. It's still there. It's not spoken about, but it's still there. But we need to continue to create products. We need to be passionate about what we are doing. We need to stop being fear. Fear is the only enemy that is holding us. Let's fall. I mean, I mean, let's not be afraid to lose whatever that we have, whatever that I managed to achieve here. I always reinforce it in my mind that for the sake of Sisanda, I'm prepared to lose it again because it's important for us to take Sisanda where we are going. So we don't want material to hold us in one corner and all that. As much as you can feed your family, let's continue to develop and be passionate and be happy. We only live once, we're not coming back. So let's rather do it. I don't know it if my ancestors can hear me or what, but while I'm still here, when I'm still be able to breathe, that's what I need to be doing now, building product and making sure that people are able to use it, feel it over and over. It's a way of life. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Basil. Like I said, it's really been such a wonderful conversation. And, I hope to have you more on this podcast
Yeah.
just for you to bring as much insights as possible. So for now, I will say goodbye and ciao, ciao until we meet up again.
Okay, now thank you very much. Next time when we meet, we are in VR.
Absolutely.
We are in the
I will
metaverse.
love that experience. I want the metaverse
Yes.
experience. Yeah. Cheers, cheers. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.